What if I told you that Tasha K just dropped one of the wildest stories ever linked to love and hip-hop ATL? And no, it's not about Carly Red forgetting her own age. This is way more intense. The spotlight's now on Bambi and some private nights she reportedly spent with Yung Joc. Tasha didn't hold anything back either. She went live and spilled everything. Now people are wondering if Scrappy is going to recover from this at all. There were claims about late-night hotel visits, flirty messages, and voice notes so bold they could probably crash your phone. Tasha didn't just gossip. She threw the whole situation on the internet and let the chaos unfold. Now everyone's asking the same thing. Was Bambi hiding a whole different life behind her perfect image? Was Jock doing more than just playing stepdad on screen? And where does this leave Scrappy? Stuck between dealing with heartbreak and trying to figure out if he's been played all along. Love and hip-hop has always brought the drama, but this latest mess takes things to another level. The second Tasha K went live, the internet blew up. Even her live stream title had people pausing whatever they were doing. Bambi's Secret Nights and Lies with Yung Joc exposed live. As soon as she started talking, it felt like the whole show stopped. She looked straight into the camera and said, "This isn't just drama. It's cheating, secrets, and baby daddy problems with a side of wigs and makeup." Right away, people knew she wasn't joking. Everyone watching knew what was coming was serious. And Tasha came prepared. She had screenshots, tips from people who claimed to work behind the scenes, and even voice clips that she said came straight from Jock himself. It was the kind of story that makes reality TV producers sweat. You could almost picture Mona Scott Young leaning in, trying to hear every word. Bambi and Scrappy have never really had a picture-perfect relationship. They've broken up, made up, and shaded each other online more times than fans can count. Sometimes they unfollow each other just to make it clear something's wrong. But nobody expected Yung Joc to show up in the middle of all this. Yes, the same Jock known for changing hairstyles every season and having a whole crew of kids. Tasha said this wasn't just about a friendship. She claimed Jock and Bambi had something going on way before Bambi and Scrappy's relationship started falling apart. And to prove her point, she lifted her iPad like she was in court. There were screenshots of private messages, audio clips, hotel bookings. She said it wasn't just rumors. It was a whole trail of receipts. Fans in the comments were losing it. Messages like "not Jock" and "Scrappy about to cry on live" flooded the chat. Some begged Tasha to stop before someone at VH1 pulled the plug. But she wasn't slowing down. She had a folder labeled Project Bambi and opened it like she'd been waiting for this moment. One voice note played out loud, and a man who sounded just like Jock said, "Bam, stop playing. I miss you. You looked real good the other night." Tasha paused for effect. Then she asked the viewers if they wanted to know when that clip was recorded. Her answer, 3 days before Bambi and Scrappy's anniversary dinner. Imagine that! While Scrappy might have been planning a sweet surprise, Jock was out here sending voice notes that didn't sound so innocent. One of Tasha's sources claimed they had worked behind the scenes on the show and shared a story about a cast party last year. Apparently, Bambi and Jock were gone together for about 2 hours and came back acting like nothing ever happened. Tasha lifted her wine glass and said, 2 hours? That's not just catching up. That's something way more personal. Scrappy, according to what Tasha shared, didn't know anything about it. He thought Bambi was out with her friends. But the real twist? Some of those friends may have known exactly what was going on. Especially Carly Red, who somehow always manages to have the scoop before everyone else. Tasha said Carly stayed quiet, probably saving it for her own future storyline. Then came the part that had everyone frozen, supposed texts from Bambi to Jock. One said, "Wish I could sneak away." Another read, "You actually see me. Scrappy doesn't even notice anymore." Tasha read them out loud like she was on stage performing spoken word, and the live chat went completely silent. Sure, fans already knew Bambi and Scrappy had their ups and downs, but nobody expected Yung Joc to be caught up in it. And it wasn't just messages and voice clips. Tasha even pulled up what she claimed were hotel security images. The footage was blurry, but you could clearly see a woman who looked like Bambi walking in with someone who looked like Jock. Tasha zoomed in and said, "I'm not saying this is them for sure, but if she walks like Bambi and he talks like Jock..." She didn't need to say more. At this point, social media exploded. Twitter users started threads within minutes. Instagram pages posted screenshots and reactions. TikTok creators started acting out scenes from the live. It spread so fast that if you blinked, you missed half the details. Then Tasha hit viewers with the most painful part. She said Scrappy had once asked Bambi about why she was acting distant and disappearing at times, and Bambi's reply? That she was dealing with something personal. Tasha didn't flinch. "Sir," she said, keeping her face serious, "that personal stuff was happening in Jock's condo." Viewers couldn't believe what they were hearing. Some were shocked, some were laughing, and others immediately jumped into group chats to talk about the drama. But Tasha wasn't done stirring things up. She ended that segment with a tease, hinting that something even messier was on the way. She brought up a possible pregnancy, rumor, and threw out a cryptic comment that someone's baby registry might need a name change. Just like that, the screen faded to black. Tasha had once again thrown the internet into chaos. She didn't just drop gossip. She pulled apart someone's personal life in front of thousands of people. And now, Scrappy's world was upside down. Right after Bambi dropped that shocking line, "What if Jock is the father?" Everyone thought that was as wild as it could get. Even the producers assumed that was the peak of the mess. They had no idea what was coming, because Tasha came back swinging, and this time, she had even more dirt. It wasn't just Bambi's messages. Jock's texts and voice notes were in the mix too. And they weren't harmless. We're talking late-night you-up texts, secretive messages like, "Don't tell nobody what we did," and the one that really crossed the line, "I'm not trying to get in the way of you and Scrappy, but I miss how you smell, bruh." That's not just playful talk. That's guilt mixed with nostalgia and bad decisions. Tasha said these weren't old receipts either. They were recent. As in, after Bambi sat on camera with Scrappy in therapy sessions claiming she was working on herself. Well, turns out that healing looked a lot like reconnecting with Jock behind Scrappy's back. Then came the part where people really started looking at Jock differently. On TV, he's always the funny guy, the one who jokes around and doesn't take life too seriously. But behind the scenes, Tasha painted him as something else entirely. She said when she confronted Jock privately, he didn't deny a thing. His response? A shrug and the words, "I ain't say she was lying." Even Carly Red, who usually jumps into drama like it's her job, backed away from this one. She reportedly said it was just too messy, even for her. And then things got worse. Tasha revealed there was a moment caught backstage, completely unplanned, where Bambi whispered to a producer, "If this hits the blogs, just remember I told you in confidence. But yeah, I had a weak moment with Jock." A weak moment? That's not the same as accidentally liking an old Instagram post. That's hooking up with your husband's friend, the same friend who used to carpool to the studio with him. That's not weak, that's calculated. According to people on set, Scrappy was devastated. When that clip leaked, word is he locked himself inside his trailer and wouldn't come out. Not even Mona Scott-Young could talk him down. One of the crew members overheard him saying, "She's ruining my name. My daughter's gonna grow up and see this mess online." That's heartbreak in real time. And just when everyone thought the drama had peaked, Tasha played a voice note that left people speechless. It lasted only 17 seconds, but it was enough. Bambi was laughing, then said, "Scrappy crying on camera and Jock calling me at 3? Life's funny." That hurt. It wasn't just messy, it was cruel. And that wasn't the last of it. Tasha then dropped proof that Bambi and Jock secretly met up in Miami. Not just a random meetup either. This happened the same weekend Scrappy was in Atlanta attending a family wedding. Tasha showed receipts for hotel bookings, room service orders, and even social media posts from that weekend that matched the timeline perfectly. This wasn't just a moment of weakness. It was a plan. They had made arrangements, hidden it well, and continued living their public lives like nothing was happening. But now, the whole story is out. The internet couldn't handle it. Twitter lit up immediately. Hashtags like Bambi Backstabber and Justice for Scrappy were trending within hours. One post said it best, "Bambi lied. Jock smiled, Scrappy cried." Even Tasha responded to that one. The mess even reached celebrities. Tamar Braxton went live and said, "This is why you don't get too close to your man's friends." Black China tweeted, "Betrayal hits different when the cameras are rolling. Keep your lashes long and your receipts longer." The reactions weren't just online anymore, everyone was talking. Fans weren't just watching now, they had picked sides. Team Bambi or Team Scrappy became the new social media battle. And Mona Scott-Young, she was probably sitting back, watching the numbers roll in. But while people were arguing about who was worse, Tasha had more to say. In her next live stream, she made it clear, "I'm not here to take sides. I'm here to tell the truth. These people forgot something important. Just because the cameras stop doesn't mean the DMs disappear." Then she took a sip of wine and added, "And baby, I still haven't played the voicemails." You could feel the tension through the screen. So, where does that leave Scrappy now? Broken, embarrassed, completely exposed in front of the whole world. And according to insiders, he's hired legal help. He reportedly demanded to watch every second of footage involving Bambi and Jock before it airs on TV. He's also threatening to leave the show unless producers help protect his name and his family. But protect it from what? The damage has already been done. The public's already seen the messages, the audio, the hotel receipts. And Jock? He's out here acting like nothing happened. He's posting Instagram stories in silk shirts, lip-syncing R&B like he's not the center of this entire scandal. The nerve is unreal. As for Bambi, she's gone completely silent. No posts, no comments, no live streams. But word is she's not laying low out of fear. She's getting ready. Rumors say she's planning to sit down with a major podcast to tell her side. But at this point, what's left to say? This isn't about damage control anymore. She needs more than a statement. She needs serious PR, someone to help her clean up this disaster, and probably a spiritual reset while she's at it. Because if Tasha still has more messages, more unseen clips, and more recordings waiting to be released, then this story is nowhere near finished. Tasha K wasn't just hyping things up when she teased that voicemail, she followed through, and what came out was complete disaster territory. The leaked audio, which Tasha claimed was Bambi leaving a message for a friend, had Bambi saying things no one expected to hear. In her own voice, she said, "I don't even feel bad. Scrappy had his fun. Now I got mine. Jock was just easy. He listens. He don't nag me like Scrap." That one line turned everything upside down. Fans were in disbelief. She really said she didn't feel bad and made it sound like running to Jock was just a way to get even. And out of all people, Jock? The man who forgot his own lyrics during a live performance? That's who gave her peace? The internet went wild, but Tasha didn't just drop the clip and move on. She broke it down piece by piece, like she was investigating a crime scene. She even brought on a voice expert, Dr. Sherelle from South Atlanta Sound Lab, who said with 99.7% certainty that the voice belonged to Bambi. Not 99.5, not 99.6, 99.7. Basically, as close to fact as you can get without a confession. Then came the last part of the voicemail, and it hit even harder. Bambi could be heard laughing, saying, "Besides, if I really was pregnant, I wouldn't even tell Jock. That man can't even commit to a haircut." One line, two punches. She hinted at possibly lying about a pregnancy and shaded Jock's appearance in the same breath.